Hey, what's up, guys? Just wanted to say thank you again to everyone who left comments and gave me such a warm welcome back. It was really great to connect with you guys again and read the stories you shared and just feel the excitement in the air. This first video is a brief introduction to a new series which will be about how to draw the various forms of the human figure, how to put them together and pose them so that they feel like they are more 3D. But before that, as a warm-up, let's draw some basic geometric forms to go over the main principles. Alright, to begin, I'm going to draw a circle, which is a 2D shape. And if you're drawing and following along, don't worry about drawing the perfect circle. You can use the edge of a cup. It's mainly to see the idea. So with this flat shape, I'm thinking, how can I make it look like a sphere? Something that has dimension to it. And one way I thought about was to think of it like a globe and the lines that are on a globe. So let's draw the equator using a curve, and above it and below it, let's draw the other lines. They're called latitude lines, right? We can draw the same curves as the equator and evenly space them. For the vertical lines, normally on a globe, they meet at the north and south pole, but for our purposes, let's keep them parallel to each other. And see how the lines move across the surface and describe its form? So in this case, we are using the lines to describe a sphere. All right, let's draw a similar shape. So let's draw an oval, which is, like a smashed circle. Let's do the same thing using lines to show its form. So we draw the verticals and the horizontal lines. Looks like a football or like a potato. I'm just going to add some color to make it stand out from the background, and let's try another shape and show its transformation into 3D. So let's draw a square, and I'm not even making these lines super straight. I'm adding a little curve to them to make it, softer feeling. And if the Earth was a cube, let's draw the equator line and the vertical lines, and it kind of looks like a package you send in the mail, and we've wrapped it with string. But see how the lines describe the surface? Curved lines, used before, will describe the surface that is curved, right? And straight lines will describe a flatter surface. So let's try another. This time, let's start with the same oval that we drew before, only this time, from the oval, we'll draw some long lines and curving the bottom. That's right. Yeah, we're drawing a cylinder, and we can draw the verticals and the curvy latitude lines and some lines on the top. And if you're nervous, if you're just starting out drawing, this is a really good way to warm up and to practice. You can start with drawing easy shapes and just have fun making different shapes, just drawing it rough and there's no pressure. Just stay nice and loose and have fun with it. Try different ones and see if you can make them dimensional. Try to draw the lines to give it its form, like the lines on a globe. So I tried drawing a cylinder with ends that are different sizes and an object that looks like a tree stump. And top right, tried to draw, it's like a trapezoid in 3D, kind of. What is that called? All right, so you may be wondering where I'm going with all these geometric forms. Well, let's start to put some similar shapes next to each other, like these two cylinders. And I drew them opposite from each other. And next to them, I drew another group, and this group is different than the first. In some ways, it could look like the beginning of an arm or a leg. And it's interesting that one seems to be bending towards us and one away from us. And that's because of the surface lines we used. They help us to see these objects better as 3D forms and how they are positioned. So next, let's draw a simplified arm, something that looks very 2D, but when we add its surface lines, using the group next to it for reference, suddenly it feels very dimensional. You can even take a more realistic arm and apply the same principle to it, using lines to help describe the form of it. And if we bend the arm at the elbow, see how the lines of the forearm are using different curves? and how it wraps around the arm. It's like if someone was wearing a long sleeve t-shirt with a map on it. And on the bottom is the drawings without the surface lines. You know, when we are drawing our own characters, it may look like this, but in our minds, we should remember what the form is like. It helps us to have the characters be more solid and dimensional, and to remember how things, the different muscle groups fit together. And now that we know about the principle of using surface lines to describe an object's form, we can begin to draw the different parts of the human figure. And that's something that will continue in the next video with drawing the form of the head. So until then, thanks for watching, guys. This was just a really brief introduction to some of the concepts about form and how this will give us sort of a foundation for how we begin to draw the human figure going forward. So I'm really excited about this series, and of course being back and helping you guys to create better characters and draw dynamic poses. So yeah, we'll continue that in the next videos.